Outer Banks, and welcome to a new episode of OBXE TV, where we give you the inside scoop on what's happening in the local and regional entertainment world. I'm Sue Artz. First up, I'm going to tell you about some of the top trending stories right now at OBXentertainment.com. GQ Magazine recently named the Outer Banks Brewing Station's own Compass Rose in their list of the 50 best craft beers as chosen by the experts. You can stop by the brewing station in Kildover Hills and have one for us today. We survived opening night of the very creepy Wanchese Woods Haunted Trail, and we made it out with an exclusive behind-the-scenes video, interviews with the cast, and the first fans of the year to enter the attraction. You can watch it now at OBXentertainment.com. OBX Entertainment is excited to present the first ever Outer Banks Halloween Parade of Costumes on Sunday, October 26th at Kelly's in Nags Head. Registration starts at 2 and the parade begins at 3, to be followed by an awards ceremony where the best costumes can win a ton of major prizes. We'll see you there. You can get full details on these events right now at OBXentertainment.com. History comes alive every day at Island Farm on Roanoke Island, but in October the farm opens their annual pumpkin patch and hosts their spooky Draped in Black program on Halloween night. Our guest today is the on-site caretaker and interpreter at Island Farm. Well, hey Jean, thanks for being with us today.
Thanks for having me.
So, for anyone who's never been there, what is Island Farm?
Well, Island Farm is a living history farm depicting the 1850s. It is the Etheridge family home place, the original Etheridge family home from 1847 is when it was built. It's standing where it has always stood since that time. That's the centerpiece of the farm, and the rest of the farm has been recreated around it with authentic reproduction outbuildings. It's all furnished as if people are still living there, with antique furniture and reproductions from that time period, down to books and playing cards and bone-handled, boar-bristled toothbrushes. It is a working farm. We actually grow some of the same crops and vegetables that they grew on the farm historically. It was the home of Adam and Fanny Etheridge and their 6 children, and they did own a handful of slaves also before the Civil War. And the family graveyard is on the property where the original residents are laid to rest along with some of their more recent descendants. And we also raise livestock at the farm. We have live animals, a lot of the same animals they had back then, including 2 Corolla wild horses across the highway, where we have a reproduction 19th century windmill. Mm-hmm. The 2 horses were adopted by the farm from the wild herd of Corolla. We have also 7 sheep, over 20 chickens that will eat out of your hand.
Wow.
2 cattle, including one who is trained as a working ox, who pulls our wagon for ox-drawn hay rides daily. And barns, outbuildings, a cookhouse where we do open hearth cooking on a fire. Smokehouse, privy or outhouse, a little dairy or milk house as it was called. Antique tools that we actually use, a working blacksmith's forge shop where we actually do hand forging some some hardware and tools that we use on the farm occasionally whenever we're able to fire it up.
Nice. So it's you and your wife and you guys own the whole.
Well, actually, no, we're the site managers.
Okay, I gotcha.
Myself and my wife Charlene.
Yeah. So you don't live on the property.
No one actually lives on the farm
Okay.
any longer, but you could. I mean, once in a while, someone will sleep over. I haven't done it myself yet, but I'm looking forward to doing it maybe when the weather turns a little cooler.
Nice, nice.
Because there are no screens in the windows. So
Oh, wow.
if it's warm at night, you know, I wouldn't want to get eaten by mosquitoes.
Yeah.
So I think cooler weather is the best time to sleep over in the house. But
Definitely.
yeah, you could live in there. We're owned by Outer Banks Conservationists Incorporated, and they are a private, nonprofit, local preservation group. And they provide a little cottage for us next door as the year-round caretakers of the property and the animals. And by the way, our sister site is the Currituck Beach Lighthouse up in Corolla.
Yep. Okay.
The red brick lighthouse is owned by the same company.
Yep, that's the only one that's not federally owned, right?
And the same thing with the farm. We receive no federal or state funding. It's all by our admissions and private donations.
Nice. So it's almost like you do live on the farm because you're probably doing
More
all
or
of the
less,
tasks and
yes.
stuff.
Even though not on the farm, the historic farm itself, we're right next door, and it's actually a cottage built in 1938 that was a home to a descendant of the farm family who is buried back there in the family graveyard. It's known as the Atkinson Cottage. Roxy Etheridge Atkinson and her husband Robert Henry Atkinson lived there.
Nice, very nice. Well, last year you guys started hosting some Halloween events at Island Farm. So what can you tell us about that?
Well, actually, it's been a few seasons now that we've been doing the Pumpkin Patch and the Draped in Black program. The Pumpkin Patch thing is proven to be one of our most popular events. Probably the most popular event we do all season. And what that is every Saturday in October. I should mention the hours that the farm is open to the public. We're open Wednesday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. April through November, except for Thanksgiving Day. And all the month of October, every Saturday, which is this year will be the 4th, 11th, 18th, and 25th, I believe. Anyway, every Saturday in October is our pumpkin patch, and we turn our cornfield, which was one of the main crops grown there historically. We turn our cornfield into a pumpkin patch, and our usual admission is $6 per person. Children 5 and under are always free. And if you pay your admission to the farm, the hay rides are included. That's every Saturday in October while we're doing the pumpkin patch. We actually do 2 sessions of hay rides, morning and afternoon. Usually it's one or the other for 2 hours. During Saturdays in October, we actually do 2 hours in the morning, starting at 10:30 to 12:30, and then with an hour break, and then 1:30 to 3:30. And for a small donation, you can, I believe it's $4. If you make a donation of $4 above your admission price, you can take a pumpkin home with you.
Nice.
And if you choose to, you can be dropped off at the pumpkin patch as part of the hayride, the ox-drawn hayride, and be dropped off at the pumpkin patch to pick out your pumpkin. And you can, we'll have someone there most of the day assisting if you need help getting it to your vehicle. That's the pumpkin patch. The other thing we do with kind of more of a Halloween theme, or tying in with the Halloween theme, is our Draped in Black program. This year that's going to fall on Halloween night, October 31st, and the following night, November 1st, which is Friday and Saturday, from 7 p.m. to 9 or 9:30. It depends. If we have enough visitors, we'll even go beyond that time if we need to. And it being at night, it's a torchlight, candle lantern tour of the farm. This is a guided tour. Most of our daily visits are self-guided. We give you a brochure, but we do have costumed historic interpreters dressed in authentic clothing from the 1850s, demonstrating the different daily aspects of living on a farm like that. Hearth cooking, woodworking, candle making is something we're doing with the pumpkin patch. Every Friday we do, instead of hearth cooking in the cookhouse, we have hand washing laundry on an open fire. We have swings for kids to play on, swing on. We have old time toys and games, all kinds of activities to do. Getting back to the Draped in Black on October 31st and November 1st. I mentioned that it's at nighttime and with torches and by torchlight and candlelight. It gives the farm a whole different atmosphere.
I'm sure.
It's kind of so it's kind of dimly lit. If it's cold enough, we'll have a fire going in the fireplace. And as I mentioned, that's the one time of the season that we do a guided tour, and we will have people that guide you back to the Etheridge family home place, and it'll be decorated as if kind of what we're recreating is the death of Adam Etheridge, who was the first person buried in the family graveyard, and he passed in 1868, about 21 years after the house was built, and a few years after the Civil War ended. We take you to the house. You see how we demonstrate how people mourn their dead during the Victorian era, how they dressed in black as much as they could afford. They even draped the house in black, which is where we get the title from. There would be black wreaths on the door to signal to the neighbors and friends that someone had passed in the home. And we'll actually have the sick room where we have someone portraying the just deceased Mr. Etheridge. We'll have a grieving widow all dressed in her mourning outfit. We'll talk about how and why the mirrors were covered or turned to face the wall, and we'll lead you by candle lantern back to the actual graveyard. Talk about the burial practices and some of the inscriptions on the actual headstones there. This year we're adding something new. I think we have a live oak tree on the property now that was just a piece of property that was just added this season. The oak tree is estimated to be 400 or 500 years old.
Wow.
It may have already been 100 years old or more when the Lost Colony was there on Roanoke Island. And that's where we're located, by the way, 1140 Highway 64 on Roanoke Island, just a little north of the town of Manio, right across from the big windmill. This year we're doing adding something new near underneath the old oak tree. We'll have someone telling ghost stories. After the guided tour of the graveyard, you'll have a chance to visit the old oak tree and hear a couple of spooky stories.
Nice.
And the whole atmosphere is kind of spooky. It's not like a haunted house, no monsters jumping out at you, but it's just a kind of an eerie, kind of macabre kind of thing.
So would you say, is there like an age limit on that, or?
Not really. It may not be appropriate for really young children.
Right.
For one thing, they might not find it interesting.
Right.
But I would say, parents can kind of use their judgment. If they think their children are mature enough, some children might find it interesting. really young children, maybe not. We don't really have an age limit, but you know, I guess people should just kind of use their judgment.
And you said, like, how long is the entire guided part?
In the past, it took maybe I don't know, 20, 30 minutes to go through the whole thing. I believe our admission for that is $8. It's probably going to be a little bit longer now with the ghost stories, and also this year we're going to have someone in the cookhouse, just kind of maybe not actually cooking, but have a fire in the hearth, and my daughter Megan may be also in there to kind of tell about what they call funeral biscuits, which were like little cookies that were handed out to the guests of the funeral, and we're going to have those available in envelopes with a death notice printed on it, which was kind of like the 19th century version of an obituary.
Oh, wow.
And so as long as they're available, if we don't run out, our guests will get a chance to have one of those to take with them. And
cool.
The cookies kind of tasty, and the little envelope's a nice little souvenir.
Nice. Nice.
So the running time of how long it takes, it's hard to say.
Right, right.
But we hope to make it worth the admission price.
Right. Sounds like definitely will be. So, are you like one of the guides, or?
Yes, I will probably be reprising my role as the guide to the graveyard itself. From the home, I'll take you up on the back porch of the home and talk about things like why was the coffin always carried out of the home feet first? Because people often died in the home then, as opposed to now it's often in a hospital. And back then it was like death was right there in the home. The family was hands-on. You know, often the family members themselves dug the grave, built the coffin, and everything. So we talk about all those things, and you know, the how and why of why the mourning was so elaborate and so public,
right?
You know, kind of showy. You dressed. You know, you let people could see that you were in mourning by the way you dressed.
So, have you ever, since you're there a lot, have you ever noticed any like real live spooky stuff going on? Or?
There are some stories that some people have said that I've never witnessed anything myself, but some people have claimed to have heard some voices and things. And we may incorporate mentioning that.
And I know that scares me.
Yeah.
Nice.
It is an old home, and people actually lived and died there.
Yeah. There's probably
for generations. Actually, the generations of the Etheridge family lived there, well into the 20th century, almost up until the restoration of the house was begun.
Wow.
In the year 2000.
Yeah, that's many generations. Yeah. Cool. Well, is there anything else happening at Allen Farm after Halloween?
Actually, yes. We do have right around Thanksgiving, and I don't have a date for that. We may or may not. We have in the past done an Island Foodways. I'm not sure if we're going to do that again this year. But we continue to be open and do our daily programs right up through the end of November, except for Thanksgiving Day. And then the following Saturday, the first Saturday in December, and I don't know the date off the top of my head. In the past, we have hitched up Charlie to the wagon and driven him from the farm to downtown Manio for the annual Christmas parade.
Nice.
Well, this year we're doing something a little different. Always after that, the following weekend after that, we would do our Christmas past at Island Farm, where we just kind of recreated a 19th century style Christmas, complete with an old world style Santa.
Nice, that's super pretty.
Yeah. But this year we're doing something a little different. We're not going to be in the Christmas parade because that day happens to be the same day that the historic home store is going on Roanoke Island. And this year we're going to be a part of that.
Mm-hmm.
And so we decided, well, if we're going to be open for that, we might as well combine that with our Christmas past at the farm and be open to the public as well.
Right.
So I believe probably at our usual time, 10 to 4. We're going to do Christmas past at the farm again, and also be part of the historic homes tour in Roanoke Island.
Cool. Well, that's great. Sounds like you guys got a lot going on, and I know we got to make our way out there soon and come check it out for sure. Maybe definitely to the pumpkin patch.
That sounds good. We'd love to have you. The more the merrier.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thanks so much for being here, and hopefully we'll be seeing you soon.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me, and hope so. Yeah, that'd be great.
Island Farm is open Wednesday through Saturday each week on Roanoke Island, but the Pumpkin Patch is open on Saturdays only in October, while the Draped in Black program will be presented on Halloween night, October 31st, and then again on November 1st. For OBXE TV and OBXEntertainment.com, I'm Sue Artz, and we'll see you next time.
Well, hello, beautiful princesses. Let it go, let it go. Can't hold it back anymore. Let it go, let it go.
Now where the cool water flows on, baby, it's too hot for clothes.
I can't wait to meet everyone.